Hello, welcome to this episode of the Reset Podcast. So I know I said I did 29 days of magic, but as I always say, Black women are amazing and magical. So I had to add just one more amazing woman that I met to the 29 Days of Magic family. And so I am so honored to have Garcelle Beauvais, who is an actress, producer, and Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, to the Reset Podcast. She has an incredible story, and I can't wait for you all to take a listen. Hi, Garcelle.
Hi, Laura. Thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you. This is so much fun.
Oh
Um,
my God, we're going to have so much fun. And I love the concept of the 29 days of, magic,
it's
black magic.
Yes, it's like I said, I now in the fourth year of this year has been, every year is awesome, and I'm so delighted to meet so many different amazing people. And the best part about it always is the serendipity of the moments where I end up meeting people and I'm like, wait a minute, hey, and you so obviously when we met yesterday, I was like, wait a minute, I've got to add one more day. The way the podcast works is the first question is always the same, and my answers are always amazing. I can't wait to hear what yours will be. So, Garcelle, what was your first job?
Oh, my first job. Okay. Well, oh my God. I have for two firsts. My first job in Miami, when we moved to Miami, I worked at Dollar Rent-A-Car at the airport. And I got to meet so many people. I'm a people person. So it was really great to give them their rental cars and, do they want insurance? That's important. And then, and then when I moved to New York to start modeling, I had to make money. So I worked at the Playboy Club on 59th and Madison. And I was Bunny Garcelle and I was the cocktail waitress there.
Okay, those could not be two more divergent first jobs.
I mean, really.
It's like, hey, would you like your Honda Sonata? Also, would you like a dirty martini?
Yes,
Like,
exactly. Well, I'm wearing my bunny outfit.
wow. Okay, that's pretty incredible. Okay, so we go from enterprise rent a car, body model to where you are today. What was that journey like?
Ooh, this journey was, how do I say it? It wasn't very strategic because I didn't know what I was doing. When people would say to my mom, oh, is she a model? She should be a model. I didn't even know what that was. I didn't know how you start doing it. But lo and behold, the universe, God brought me to a place where I got discovered in my car on my way to the agency that I was going to see without any photos, without an appointment. And then I started modeling with Eileen Ford and moved to New York and lived with her until the models apartment became available. And then I started working right away doing catalogs and Mary Kay Cosmetics and doing some runway with Isaac Mizrahi and Calvin Klein. I worked my way as a model, did a lot of catalog work and a lot of advertising. I remember the day I got Virginia Slim's campaign. I thought I had made it. You couldn't talk to me because I was so
Talk to me
like
nice.
into it. And of course I didn't smoke, but that was, that was the highlight. And then I started, getting bit parts acting and did Miami Vice, did some music videos, worked on the Cosby Show, and finally decided that, after I worked for 10 years in New York, that I was going to move to California to pursue a career in acting. And of course, people didn't take me seriously. They're like, she's a model. Can she walk and talk at the same time? Which was insane. So I had to prove myself. It wasn't an easy journey by any stretch of the imagination. I didn't have anyone in the industry to sort of like, I wasn't a Nepo baby, that's for sure. So, by perseverance, faith, and I have to say, talent also got me to where I am today.
Awesome. And I love how you're leaving out tons of pieces of the story. Because we know that you were on some legendary shows, like the Jamie Foxx show.
Yes. The Jamie Foxx show was, I mean, that was a highlight for me. I knew only Jamie as a stand-up comedian. So when his show came about, I was still modeling, going back and forth, and I would cancel the appointment because I got a job in New York and had to fly. And I remember one time my agent said, hey, they really want to see you. Are you going to make this? And I was like, yes, 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 yes. And I remember going into the audition and meeting Jamie And at the time I had a video that was, that was being, shown around the world with R. Kelly. And Jamie at the time, that was when he used to, call in for a video to play. And he goes, "Do you know how many times I requested that download video?" And so that kind of broke the ice between him and I. And then when I got the job, I really felt like out of all the women that were vying for this role, I think how I stood out is the fact that I wasn't trying to be overly funny to him. I was the straight man to his funny.
Hmm.
And we had great chemistry. And we thought if we did 13 episodes, we would be golden. And we ended up doing 100 episodes of this incredible show. We had the best time. I saw Jamie flourish. I didn't know his musical side. So during breaks, he would sit at a piano and he would play and he would pretend he was Ray Charles, or he would pretend he was Stevie Wonder, or play his own music. And I was like, wow, this guy is really talented. And then cut to him winning an Academy Award for playing Ray Charles and becoming this, musical genius, and seeing him going from, a player to a dad. And it was just beautiful to see. And we really have this close friendship. And then we wrapped with the 100th episode of the Jamie Foxx show. I had planned a girls' getaway to Jamaica just to celebrate and also take a break. And my agent said, "Hey, there's an audition for you for NYPD Blue. It's 2 episodes." And I was like, "Oh, I know that show. Of course, I'll go in." And I went in and ended up doing 4 seasons of NYPD Blue.
Hmm.
So it was, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I'm like, God, are you sure? Um, and it really changed my career, because doing comedy, I think I didn't get pigeonholed with that because I got NYPD Blue right away, that it let people see me in different ways. So it wasn't like, oh, she can only do comedy.
No, you've got a wonderful wide breadth of experience along the way. And then because again, I remember Jimmy Fox show, I remember NYPD Blue, and then I see that you're joining Housewives, and I'm like, what?
I know. Let me tell you, Laura. I mean, if somebody had told me, I don't know, 6 years ago that I'd be doing reality, and I'll be like, what are you, high? Like, no. Um, but at the time that Housewives came to me, my manager was like, "Beverly Hills is interested in you. I'm going to pass, but I want to let you know because you know a lot of people." And I said, "Well, let me think about it." And he goes, "Garcelle, I don't think it's a good idea. You're doing so well as an actor. But as a mom of twin boys who are just about to go into middle school, and I share them with their dad, they do 1 week with me, 1 week with him. All the projects that I was doing weren't being shot in LA, and they were going to middle school, and I really wanted to be around. So I thought, this show shoots in LA, it'll keep me home. So that's really, and I'm always open to trying new things. I mean, I think that's why I've been able to, host talk shows and, write books. And I have children's books. I wrote a memoir this past year. So I'm always open, but reality was something I never even thought about. But again, it would keep me home with my boys. And so I spoke to their dad and I spoke to them, because obviously whoever's in my life, when you do a reality, the cameras roll for you too. So when I went back to my manager and I said, I want to take a meeting, I think I want to do this, he was like, "You're crazy." And let me tell you, Laura, out of all the things that I've done, I mean, I was in Spider-Man Homecoming, I've worked with Denzel, I've worked with incredible people, obviously Jamie Foxx. I've never gotten more attention than when I was announced that I was joining Beverly Hills. One, because I think
Really?
it was unexpected.
Right.
Two, being the first Black housewife. My girlfriend texted me from New York. She goes, "Oh my God, you're trending." And I'm like, "For what?" "I'm making pork chops for the boys. Like, this is not trendy worthy."
I am just making some pork chops. Leave me alone. Where is
Okay.
the
I'm in my sweats. It's been an incredible ride, honestly.
It's amazing. Just like you're like, okay, sure, why not?
Right.
So,
Sometimes I think being open to things may surprise you. I think that's my takeaway.
and for you, so what's it been like for you? Because like now you all this attention. Like, does that feel like, oh my gosh, I want to like go under the covers, or are you cool with it?
It depends. I mean, I'm cool with it because it's nice that people, they connect with the show or they connect with me. And I hear a lot. You're a breath of fresh air. Thank you for being authentic. And so that I love. And sometimes it's a little bit overwhelming. So I realize that I'm wearing a lot of baseball caps a lot nowadays just because it gives me a little bit of a privacy. But the minute I open my mouth, my voice gives me away. I could be at Home Goods, I could be at Target, and people are like, "Oh my God, I heard your voice."
Oh my gosh. Wow. That
No, yeah.
Like I literally I just want a bacon, egg, and cheese. What is all this? Like, so,
Uh,
and then obviously that changes your life and it opens up so many doors. But looking back on all of the amazing things you've done, talk to me
mhm.
about a time you had a challenge when you're like, there's no way I'm getting through this. And then you did.
Oh my God, that would have to be. I am in my mid to late 40s. I tried IVF for 5 years to get pregnant. I finally have a miracle, and I have these two amazing boys, and they're 3 years old. And the rug was pulled out under me. I was betrayed by my husband, and here I am going through a divorce. Not anything that I had. It wasn't on my, bingo card. Let's just say. And that was devastating. And I didn't know how I was going to get through, like I said, being a mom of twins and thinking that, I had backup, and to find out that my marriage was falling apart right in front of my eyes, literally in a matter of moments. So it was like, can I do this? Why is this happening? I said the other day to a girlfriend, I said, when I was going through it, I read a lot of self-help books. I went to see a psychologist to help me get through it. And one of the things she said to me was, don't distract from the pain. Don't like hang out with your girls or get under someone else. Go through it so that you can come out on the other side of it. And I had 2 3-year-olds looking up at me. I couldn't stay in bed and cry all day long. But I remember one night I cried so hard that the next day it felt like I had done 1,000 sit-ups. And I had to get up on my feet, get through it, and co-parent with my ex. I couldn't hate the man that they loved so much.
Right.
And I didn't want them to deal with the trauma of what, us adults were going through. So I really had to pick up the pieces, keep it moving, and try to raise these boys. And there were people who were like, oh, you can't do it by yourself. You can't, and I thought, I have a support system, but I can do it. And we put the boys first. And even the other day, I was nominated for People's Choice Awards. I got a new puppy. I didn't want to leave the puppy home alone. And my kids were with my ex, and he came over and picked up the dog. So, like,
Yeah.
we got to the other side of it.
Yeah.
We got to the other side of it.
You find a way to get
Yeah.
the other side with that. But I really like the fact you talk about like you have to like be in that discomfort. Like you can't pretend like it doesn't exist.
Right.
Otherwise,
Exactly.
you'll never get through it.
Right. Exactly. It's like putting Band-Aid on a wound, eventually you just got to deal. And, it was the hardest thing I ever had to deal with. But yeah, I got through.
And now look at you. Look how fabulous. See, we always show out. Like we always show out. And you
Yeah.
get there. And I think, this is the fourth year of doing 29 Days of Magic. The continual theme has always been that, especially as Black women, we oftentimes people think we're superwomen, and I always say we're not
Yep.
Krypton. Okay? Like,
Yep.
we're from Earth. There are no superpowers. But we do find a way, and we do
We
find
find
a way, no matter the circumstance, to get our way through it. And I think it's a testament to our resiliency, especially as
Amen.
Black women, to do it.
Absolutely. And I think also we've seen it for decades and generations of, women before us being strong and getting through. And, we don't always want to be the superwoman, like you said, but we've seen it. And thank God we've had examples of how to come through.
Yeah, it is truly the mark of all of us that like we can come through. And thinking about
Yep.
all that, like what do you think you'd probably tell 18-year-old Garcelle?
Woo, I would tell my 18-year-old self, don't be so scared, because I was always so scared, not sure. And I would also say to her, wait till you see what you do in your 50s, girl. Just hang on. Hang on.
Your life is not solved by the time you're 25. And that's the other big part about all of this. Like, it's okay to not have it figured out at 25,
Yeah,
at 35, at 45. Because
exactly. I mean, I'm still a work in progress. I think that's the beauty of it. If you can recognize that, you're not going to have it all solved. And, there are nights I go to bed and I feel like, okay, you did pretty good today. And there are nights that I go to bed and I'm like, oh, you didn't handle it. You didn't have patience here. You could have been better here. But we have another day to have a new opportunity.
another day to shine, another day to step forward, and just be like, all right, made it through.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And the way that we kind of make it kind of get through all that oftentimes is with self-care. So I gotta know, because you look fabulous.
Thank you.
What do you do for your self-care?
Oh, can I tell you? I did not even ever heard of self care until like 2020 when we were all stuck in pandemic life.
Really?
I swear. So for me, it's all about like I love taking baths, listening to music, candles. Like that's my jam, especially R&B music. But self care for me could be I always have lavender in my purse or in my car, everywhere. So I may do a little dab, a few dabs of lavender oil, smell it, even on the airplane.
Hmm.
Sometimes I wear a mask on the airplane. I'll put a little dab in my mask and put it on, and it helps me sleep. And it also helps me, keep COVID away. But it's all about taking, time for myself, telling my boys, like, you know what? I need a couple of hours of just me. Unless you're on fire, do not come in my room. Do not bother me. I think we have to do that so many times. Again, back to when I was going through my divorce, and my therapist said to me, you know how they say to you, put on your mask on the plane before you help someone else. You have to remember to take care of yourself because you can't fill someone else's cup if your cup is empty. So I try to do, every now and then do a spa or facial or have a masseuse come to the house. And those little things can just, or leave, take off, put my phone on off and just be in the moment, not worrying about posting or who's calling or who's texting or emails I have to return. I just think it doesn't have to be a whole day. You can take little bits here and there throughout your day to make yourself okay.
You actually can turn your phone off?
Yeah, crazy, right?
I don't
Crazy.
like. What's the sorcery you speak of? Because I don't know what that's like.
But not for all day. I couldn't do it all day, but I do. And sometimes before I go to bed, I'm like, you know what? I'm giving myself a few hours of no phone because you get sucked in,
This is true.
which is you get sucked in.
Yeah, I try really
I
hard.
know. I
I
know.
mean, my alleged boundary is on the weekends, I don't take my work phone off the charger. And for the most
Good.
that tends to work. But there are some people who have my actual phone number.
Oh,
And
you
I'm
got to
like,
put them on silent. Do not disturb.
I do need to figure out how to put folks on D&D, but it's just so hard. I'm just like,
I know it is hard. It is hard. I left my phone the other day at home and I was just running some errands. And at first I was panicked. And then I'm like, you know what? Back in the day, we used to go out all day, come back, and then press play to hear the messages. So I said, I'm going to try to do it. And once I got over that initial, oh my God, I don't have my phone. What if my car breaks down? What if, my kids need me? What if the world stops? I was like, this was kind of nice.
wow, that is impressive.
I
Uh,
try. It doesn't always
I
work, but I
appreciate the
try.
attempt. I mean, I guess I think especially as in a post-COVID universe, I'm always just like, I need my phone in case things go left. So at least
Right.
I can I can like bounce if I need to.
Yeah.
Like it definitely is one of those moments where I'm like, okie dokie. Like, I really can't. And
Yeah.
and also I think the other things that we're all addicted to social media. So we always like checking what's happening online and
Right.
it's not about ourselves. Like how's that for you? 'Cause I would imagine that like you like have to mute everything because otherwise you'll just get 11,000.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's the hardest part, honestly. That's the hardest part because now people feel like their opinion matters in everything you do in all aspects of your life. and I know I'm on a
Oh,
reality show and I'm in a fishbowl, but I try not to read comments. I really am really good about it because you can have 1,000 amazing girl, you're a queen, you're this, you're an icon, but you have that one negative troll that will stick with you all day. And even the other day, I was like, Garcelle, you know who you are, you know who your friends are, but it still gets to you. So I try not to, especially with Housewives. It's a juggernaut of a show, and everybody has a thing. And it's interesting because I don't think those people who write whatever the negative stuff, they would never say it to your face. They
right.
would never.
It's called social media courage. Uh,
Yes,
because they're going to
exactly.
get punched in the face if they ever say it.
Exactly. I love your attitude.
Because it's like, well, I mean, it's like that also with like dating apps, like the stuff the guys will say to you on the first message, or you're like, would you say that to me about?
Sir. Okay.
Or if someone said to your sister, what would you say?
Right. That part. That part.
For you, it's very much like I'm just going to like ignore this foolishness over here, and you can tweet and chat all
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
want.
I mean, every now and then one, gets by me or I'll see something, but it's just too hard to separate. And I wish, although I love social media for connecting me, like I can talk to a fan who's in Dubai or Australia or Haiti. But at the same time, the people who feel like they have a right to comment on your life, those are hard, especially last season for me and my son, Jax, who got really trolled because of Housewives. And that was really painful. And that was the negative side to doing what I do because my kids didn't sign up for it. It's just they happen to be, you know, a celebrity son. So, well, and it's not fair.
Right. Well, you were an amazing mom, and you did smack some people down, which is delightful.
Thank you.
As a Black mama would.
Exactly.
About that.
Yeah.
So, last question for you. Do you have a give and or an ask of the audience?
Do I have a give? Ooh, I would say if you can hug somebody just because. And I'm not saying a total stranger because that can be a little
That's
weird,
creepy.
but I say you could get smacked.
Yeah.
I just say sometimes you don't know, like check on your strongest friends. I really believe that. So many times people think that we're all good, and it's nice um, for someone to check in on you and just say, "Hey, girl, I've been thinking about you, and are you good?" Because I feel like so many times we go, "Hey, how are you?" and the person says, "Good," and we go, "Okay, great," and we keep it moving.
Right.
And I think sometimes we need to go a little deeper.
No, I would agree. I think, well, one, you give great hugs.
So do you.
Mutual hugger society. But you're right. It's very much, we see it so often right now, especially
Yeah.
check on your strong, what you perceive to be your strong friend.
Exactly. Perceived. That's the operative word. That's it right there. Yeah.
Uh, because you never know what folks are going through, and like, giving someone, having a nice day with someone, having a drink with someone, just catching up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can definitely fuel folks' souls. And, I think I think part of the magic of 29 Days of Magic is that, like, on days where I've been like, oh my God, what am I doing today? I've had an amazing interview talking to an amazing Black woman, and it's fueled my soul. And it's been
Oh, I love that.
just awesome to meet so many amazing women. And I am so honored that you were able to jump in and be my 29 plus one for 29 Days of Magic, because you're truly magical, Garcelle.
Oh, thank
So,
you so much. I'm so happy that I met you, and I think you're wonderful. And write a book.
hey, okay. We'll talk offline about that.
Okay.
So you're coming back to Housewives, so everyone should be staying tuned for that, as well as following you on social media and only writing nice comments.
Yes, thank you. Oh, good vibes only.
Good vibes only. Check out Survival of the Thickest is on Netflix right now. It's such an amazing show. You and Michelle
Oh,
Buteau
thank
are
you.
hilarious together. And it's no, so it's a vibe.
Thank you so much.
And this concludes 29 Days of Magic. I hope that you have listened to hopefully all 29 plus 1 days and heard from such amazing women who are changing the games in big, small, in between ways, but at the end of the day, just being truly magical. And if you like what you've heard, one, give us 5-star ratings. Two, great people and connect with them, but also understand that like 95% of the people who I've interviewed throughout 29 Days of Magic have been sent to me. And that's the magic of serendipity. I have friends have recommended people to chat with. And so that's the great part about this, just connecting with people. You never know who you're going to meet and everyone has an amazing story. Everyone has a gift. And I hope over the last 29 days, you've gotten to hear some amazing gifts and been inspired to push forward, find your way through. And with that, that is the end of our show.